in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. True. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Georgette Chu, and I am the co-host for Fight CPS Real Talk with Miss G. And I also work for the law office of Vincent Davis, and my lovely co-host Cassandra is with us today. And we have our guest today. His name is John. And I would like to start the show, as I'm trying to be consistent of sharing information with those who haven't watched the show before. So CPS, Child Protective Services, also known as CPS and DCFS, is a protected empire built on just kidnapping children and separation of families. Bill Clinton 1997 Act offered cash bonuses to the state for every child they adopt out in foster care. And in order to receive the adoption incentive bonuses, CPS treats kids like merchandise that sells. And they must bring plenty of innocent children so the buyers can choose. The buyers are the adoptive foster families. Workers work hard to keep the federal dollar flowing. Each bonus is multiplied by a percentage that state has managed to exceed baseline adoption numbers. Therefore, the state and local community, which is CPS, work hard to reach the goal to increase the numbers of adoption. The program is set by the very top and is ran by the Health and Human Resources. This is why victims of CPS do not get the help from their legislator, because, well, our tax dollars is what keeping this gigantic system flowing. So 6 out of 10 kids die in foster care. CPS became this protected empire built on kidnapping children and the separation of family, which is illegal kidnapping. Poor parents are targeted to lose their kids because they do not have money to hire an attorney. CPS workers commit fraud and withhold evidence in court, and there is no checks and balances. Judges allow them to run the show. The separation of families and the snatching of children is growing as the CPS business grows because the state and local government are accustomed to having these taxpayers' dollars to balance their overgrowing budget. The ones that benefit from this incentive from the government is the state employees, social workers, children therapists, court-appointed attorney, also known as court pretenders, guardian ad litem, CPS investigators, CPS judges, foster parents, adoptive foster parents, and children psychiatrists are all looking at the children in the state custody to provide job security. It's very important for you guys to understand the state is not I mean, the government is not for the people, and people don't understand this. Child trafficking through child protection services expose kidnapping children for sex. This is by Brian Shilhavy, Health Impact News editor. In this buzzsaw interview below, filmmaker Sean Stone interviews Tammy Stefano, the executive director of National Safe Child Coalition, exposes much of the corruption happening within child protective services and family courts. This might be one of the few interviews currently available on the internet that gives this much information on child sex trafficking business that exists in LA County and across the nation. Tammy Stefano reveals some very shocking information about the child and human trafficking business currently operating in the United States, which is a huge illegal business that brings in more money than illegal drugs trade and illegal arms trade combined. Tammy Stefano has spent over 2 decades on front line fighting for children's safety. She understands the emotion of being victimized, having survived a kidnapping in her younger years. Determination was the driving force that promoted her to go undercover to catch pedophile school teachers. Child Protective Services social workers do not protect children. Hundreds of children murdered in CPS care. So, for those of you who don't have a case with CPS in the United States that judge other parents that do, and you guys think the system works, I'm going to repeat myself. You are delusional and stupid. Because most of you guys in the United States think that child protective services protect children. You think the courts protect children. They don't. Let me expose a little bit more from my last show. When Child Protective Services has a hold of your children, what they do, because the children are used as merchandise, right? So what they do is they accommodate the children in best way they know how. Cunning, manipulation, deception, right? They tell the children, if you do this, you're going to get your iPhone. You're going to get an iPhone. Kids, you're going to get it. If you do this, you're going to have your tablet. If you do this, you're going to Disneyland. If you do this, you're going to get this. Children at a certain age, they will do whatever. Or another one of my favorites, if you do this, you're going to see your family. I will make sure you go back to your home. When the children don't get what they want or what they heard they're going to get, they start getting angrier. They start reacting more. And then the social worker and the foster parents say, it's the parents' fault. No, it's not the parents' fault. It's your fault, CPS, judges, because you're corrupt, you're demonic, you're empty and dark inside. You have to be dark. You cannot have a soul. You cannot have a soul and do this to children and families. But what I have noticed is that everybody in the United States that don't have a case, they judge families that do. And families are so embarrassed, right? Because everybody's blaming them for what CPS has done. When in fact, the government is behind every corruption. I have heard, which is really sad, I have heard a mother overhearing the social worker. So what happened was that the social worker called the mom. The social worker, with her dumb self, forgot to hang up the phone. She left a message. She got distracted. The voicemail was recording. Then the social worker was talking to her supervisor, and the supervisor, or whoever was, telling her, make sure those kids, right? Make sure if they're blonde, blue eyes, let me know. So the social worker is like, well, I have to go see. I don't know. I'm not sure. Blah, blah, blah. She's talking. She's talking. Why would somebody, whoever that person was, either a supervisor or a social worker, say, make sure that you get us that type of child? If there is no foster home that's looking to adopt this certain type of child. Remember, foster parents are looking to adopt children. Like I said, there's two different foster parents home: adoptive foster parent and foster parent. So the adoptive foster parent is like, okay, well, I would like to have, do you guys have like Indian children, right? Native American Indians. They have children. They have mixed children. So it's kind of like they're choosing who they want to adopt. And then the social workers accommodate. And that's how it goes. So oh my God. Fuck DSS said, no joke. They said they'll have that they said you'll have a better life. That's what they told me. They told me that I was responsible for what happened to my family. I listened to the lied, and they said what I was told to. Wow. Wow. It happens. Kids are lied to. Kids are they do tell kids that you're the reason why you're here. You're the reason why. There's a lot of kids who grew in the system, and they say that the social worker told them that you're the reason why you're here because you said this about your mom, but that's not true. And the kids, the more you say it to a child, the more they tend to believe it. They tend to believe that lie because they keep hearing the shit. They keep hearing the fucking lie. So it's I swear to God, I came from a family that the word shut up in the family, like saying shut up in front of your parents or anybody, is the worst word you can say. After I started getting older and older, and I realized all the corruption, the injustice, it's like I started getting, I mean, you can't process everything that you see happening. I mean, you have to be so fucked up to destroy families. You have to be. You can't be normal. And people think just because a judge has credentials that they're going to do the right thing. They don't do the right thing. Otherwise, kids would not be suffering in the hands of a sociopath or a narcissist. And they tend to believe the narcissist, sociopathic individuals. Why? Because they themselves are fucked up. They see a lie is the truth and the truth is a lie. And it just blows my mind how the corruption keeps growing and growing and growing, and children are suffering, parents are suffering. And everybody else in the White House is more concerned about election. They're more concerned about what can I do to deceive the people to vote for me. That's all they care about. Their image. But guess who else cares about their image? Is a sociopath, is a narcissist, because it's all about them. It's all about their image. So they have to wear a mask. and pretend to be something they're not. So that people can be deceived and say, oh, he's the one. He's a good guy. He's great. We want him. So wise up, everyone. When you start to vote, make sure that you know who you're voting for. You're not just voting because you're a Democrat. You're not just voting because you're a Republican. Vote as a concerned citizen about your country, about your state, about your county. Don't vote because he or she is the same party as you. That's what's screwing everything up. And people say, I don't want to vote. I don't believe in anyone. Well, guess what? Then you're never going to make a difference. You need to start voting for judges, not get them to be reelected. For the love of God. There's a judge in California. I don't want to say the county, that's going to be reelected because nobody's voting. Vote. Fucking vote. John, I would like to hear your story. First of all, what state is your case in?
Mine's in California. Pretty sure you already know the county, but there's been a turn of events that have been positive in my outcome. Like, for example, I'm going to be getting overnight soon, and then hopefully, if those go well, I'll be progressing to the 60-day. And also, I've been able to prove a whole lot of other stuff that I'd rather say in private with both of you if you want to know.
Yes.
But yeah, there was just a lot of things.
John, be careful with that before we get to your story more. Be careful with the overnight visits, because what they do, they give parents overnight visits, but then they come back with, oh, we received anonymous call that there's abuse. We received this. Then they go back and take your kids again. You have to be very mindful. What they give, they want back. Because they still want the control. They still want to fuck your life up. So to save themselves, they give you a few months with your kids. Then they come back and say, we received this. And then they go back and take back what they give. So you have to be very smart. Instead of you thinking you are ahead of them, you have to be 20 steps ahead of them.
Yeah, the way I've been doing it is I've been doing my best to keep my nose clean and just stay on all 10 toes at all times when it comes to them.
You need to invest in cameras in your home. You need to invest in cameras in your home, in your hallway, in your living room, in your kitchen, everywhere in your home. And also outside your home. And then have a sign outside your home that says, this house is 24-hour surveillance. Because once they enter and they see that sign outside, they cannot tell you. You cannot record them. So you need to protect yourself at all times. Because these pieces of shit workers, they know what they're doing. They all went to the same demon school. They're trained to deceive you. They're trained to lie. They're trained to steal your children. So you need to protect yourself. Don't ever think because you're a good parent that they're not coming back.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like I said, during my first initial trial, because they made up a whole bunch of stuff like the baby lost weight in the mother's care. I managed to get that struck out because the public pretender that I was telling this, look, I got this evidence, I got that evidence, I want these people subpoenaed in, I want this on the witness list. She wasn't trying to do none of that. So I said, okay, well, since you're going to screw me over anyway, I'm just going to try my best to see what I could do. I may not be a lawyer, not have no fancy degree, so I did the best I could with what I had. Surprisingly, it worked out. Now, like I said, everybody, full disclosure, I don't have any law degrees. I just stuck my nose to the grinding stone and I learned what I could. And some of it worked to an extent. Like I said, you know, during the main phase of the first trial, like I said, you know, the other side was trying to get everything I said struck out or just put out of the case entirely. They just said it was rambling and ranting. And I simply pointed out what I learned and said, no, this is what this law says, this is what this law says. So like I said, I managed to get a lot of things struck out, but they're hanging on to an old case, the one I talked about last time I was on the show.
Right.
So essentially now it's to an point where I'm even keeping them on their toes because I went and contacted my local legislator and the board of supervisors of my area and even the director of CPS in my county themselves. Got a bunch of big eyeballs on my case, and surprisingly it's getting the attention that everybody case, in my opinion, everybody's case should. And it's sad that it doesn't happen for more people. But in my situation, like I said, I've been doing my best to stay on my toes, keep my nose clean, and I do have a camera in my room, and then I have another camera I'm gonna be setting out in my living room, just basically the main places where the baby's gonna be, and then I literally paid for a cloud service to where I could record it. It goes straight to my account. So if anybody wants to argue abuse, hey, this is what I recorded. Let's play it in the evidence.
You know what's so funny about this recording shit? I actually bought a camera for my car, for the back and the front. I literally have cameras back and front of my car. Because even in your vehicle, you need proof and evidence. Get it? Think about it. It's like we humans, we, the people who pay them, right? Our tax dollars pay this system to fuck with us. So we people, the people, have to protect ourselves from a corrupt government that our tax dollars is paying. Just think about it for a second. Let it sink in your head for a second. For a second. We have to have protection at all times because of the false claims they attack parents with. I mean, you think that your government should be for the people. You think that the government should protect the people. But yet, what's so sad is that I hear our country making fun of other countries, right? But yet, you're not handling your own shit in your own country. That's what's fucked up. Because people, right? People don't understand that your own government is what's fucking with you.
It's been that way for quite some time.
Correct.
I remember, I'm pretty sure, back in your day, there was a point where you could leave your, you can go out, have a great time the whole entire day, leave your car unlocked, leave your door unlocked, and come home, everything's the same. Nowadays, we got to literally record every single thing, which, speaking of recordings, right, I would love to come on the show and talk about one of my friend's case, and I'm going to be linking your people's information to him so he can sign that little piece of paper. But point is, he's tried to get a hold of Sean McMillan. We all know who he is. He's in the intro. Even he says recording the social workers is criminal. And that was shocking to me.
I'm sorry, wait. Wait. He said what again? Repeat that?
He tried to get Sean McMillan's help because he wanted to hire a private attorney to fight them in federal court. And I told him how great Sean McMillan was. He wrote Sean McMillan, called Sean McMillan, and Sean McMillan wouldn't take his case because he recorded the social workers, and he said that was criminal. And then even in my own trial, the other side tried to say, oh, we can't have these recording in here. It's criminal in nature. I'm like, where? Because then I read them an article I read where there was a bunch of district courts, ninth being one of them, and the Ninth Circuit is in California, right? And even the legislative bill that Ms. G always points out, that was passed in 2015 that says you can record a social worker. Even the Court of Appeals in the 9th District and a group of them said that, you could record county workers public servants, public officials, as long as it's not for a malicious purpose and you're not interfering with their business.
Here you
right?
go. Well, can you guys see this? I want to read this, John, not to interrupt you, but just 1 second.
Yeah, and then there's this awesome website I came across that I forgot to mention last time that I think everybody's going to want to know about.
Check this out. California Legislative Information. AB 336 Child Welfare Services Investigations. It says, a parent or a legal guardian may make a video or audio recording of his or her interview or interaction with a county child protective services social worker who is investigating allegations of parental abuse or neglect. The legislature finds and declares that nothing in existing law prevents a parent or a legal guardian from making a video or audio recording of his or her interview or interaction with a county child protective services social worker. A county child protective services social worker participation in an investigation of parental abuse or neglect shall be deemed consent. Again, I'm going to repeat, shall be deemed consent to video or audio recording pursuant to subdivision A. So, interesting. Go on, John.
So yeah, it was just really disappointing to hear someone like Sean McMillan say that. But I mean, it is what it is. Now, the website I would love to share with everybody. This is just for California, but I'm sure other states have their own websites. But it's called cjp.ca.gov. Let me say it a little bit slower so that everybody can know. cjp.ca.gov. What this website is it's a website for California to report judges' misconduct. So when they go up for review, they're going to see that. They'll see where their misconduct lies. And if it really was misconduct, then they're going to put that into account. But basically, it's a website that gives you all sorts of awesome information of, what a judge can and cannot do. And this is something that I think everybody should really know about and start doing, because the more people do this, the chances are that one particular screwed up judge is not going to get elected. It's not going to be put on the bench. Which, speaking of this, when they rotate judges, my friend that I was telling you about that tried to hire Sean McMillan, right now he's in a juvenile court case with a judge that got thrown off the bench in family courts out where he's at. So it's a shocker to me that they throw this judge off of the bench in family courts and then throw him into juvenile courts. Now, another way I've learned law is someone who started out as a paralegal and retired as a legal assistant. And basically what he told me, if you really dig into it, juvenile courts is one of the highest state courts. That's why they get away with what they get away with. That's why they could do things like overrule a family case, even though you were basically exonerated, even in criminal courts, which to me, like that doesn't make sense, because to me, I figured that. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So I can just comment on that. In family court, if you have like a psychiatric evaluation, like a 730 evaluation, and the evaluator, the psychiatrist says, do not give the children to the father because he's not safe. The kids are not safe with him. Example. Then the case turns into juvenile. Guess what happens? CPS takes over. That basically what happened in family law court is irrelevant. It's nothing. It's void. And then they give the children to the abuser father, right? That the psychiatrist said is not safe to be around the children. That's how the state operates. And then guess what? The judges in family court, when you go to them, oh, you had a prior CPS case. Oh, I don't want to change an order from 20 years ago. Oh, because, a state judge made it. That's how corrupt our system is.
What's even more corrupt is I tried my hand in federal court against these people on my own because I couldn't afford an attorney. But weird things happened. At first, they denied my first initial complaint because I didn't make a short and what's that word? I didn't make a short statement for claims of relief. That was their first excuse in the federal courts. The second one, right, was that I couldn't prove where the judge went wrong, but yet the investigators I had pointed out that that judge didn't even consider that the investigators never put in any response at all, didn't get no attorneys, didn't get back to me, and they're also alleging that, oh, they're not social workers that work there, but it's like I had put in a video for the judge to look at, to sit there and say, look, these are really social workers, this really happened. So then they struck down my second complaint. So now I have to figure out another way to get them held accountable in federal court. But even the federal courts down here aren't really doing much. And I'm going to just go ahead and say maybe it is my fault that I didn't present it right, because obviously, like I said, I'm not a lawyer, not even a paralegal. I just did the best with what I could. But yeah, it's messed up on so many levels where I'm at. So messed up.
I'm so sorry, man. I am very, very sorry. And that's why a lot of people are torn, because, like I said, they target people who cannot afford an attorney. They do. They target people who cannot afford an attorney. And actually, there's another thing that I heard after my show at 9 a.m. this morning. Right after my show, like 30 minutes later, somebody called me and told me that there are social workers who actually call law firms, and they pretend to be CPS. They pretend to have a CPS case, and they do the agreement and everything like that, right? Like to hire the attorney. And then they hear, they talk to the attorney and they get advice or what have you. And then after that, nothing. They're doing that deliberately. There's social workers that have time, right? They don't have time to call you. They don't have time to, do their job, but they do have time to pretend they're victims of CPS. They have time to pretend that they are what do you call that, child advocate. They have time to have a Facebook page and pretend to be somebody else so they can get your liking and get you to speak about your case. They have time to manipulate people and deceive people, but they don't have time to do their fucking jobs. Yeah. Here we go. Public servant is a criminal. Okay, yeah, we already addressed that part. So, John, when is your hearing next?
Well, I have a pre-trial on the 5th to talk about reasonable services. And then I believe it's going to be on the 25th or 28th. I would have to check my calendars, and that's when we're going to have the actual trial. But from what my counsel told me is that they're expected to drag this out another 12 months.
Oh, wow.
Yep. But lucky for me, because of all the stuff I've been doing, I managed to get 2 of my services struck out, because at first they wanted me to do a psych eval, and then they wanted me to drug test, and I flat out said no. And I was even being a smart ass and said, hey, you know what? You want my DNA? I'm going to charge $100,000 per sample. You pay me $100,000. Like, I'm not doing this, because I already did a program back in 2020 without a court order or a social worker telling me, right? I did drug testing for them. I did individual mental health therapy with them. I did anger management and correctional behavioral therapy, as well as parenting classes with this program. And I finished within 3 months. I just did that because, well, at the time I felt really bad about what had happened with my baby mama's older kid. And, well, because I ran my mouth and said the wrong thing, admitted to something that I did not do, right? Because there were bruises left on this kid, and I know for a fact I didn't do them. But of course, well, they twist everything. I didn't know any better, so I decided, like, hey, you know what? As long as I show them I have nothing to hide and I'm going to do the right thing, I should have no problems. Boy, was I wrong, and boy, I wish I would have learned this later on. And also, come to find out, the investigator for that particular case was still in training. I wonder why in the world are they letting a social worker who's still in training run this case? I don't know, but she was obviously had to be coached.
Some of these investigators, they're actually, no more than maybe 21-year-old or something, or 22, around that age group. And
They don't even know about
Most of
life.
them don't even have kids.
none of them have kids, and on top of that, they just barely graduated high school, and you're gonna have them investigate a family, and all of a sudden, the 5 minutes they're there, ooh, Whoopi, I already figured her out. She's a bad mom. Oh, she's horrible, or he's a horrible father. I mean, really? That's an investigation? You mother pieces of shit. That's what you call an investigation?
And once they get kids, they get desk jobs. They're not even field workers anymore. They get desk jobs.
That is true. They get desk jobs. Or I love it when the social worker says, when a client tells us, oh, my social worker was fired. I'm like, they're not fired. They just send them to another location. And then 2 months later, the client calls me back. How did you know, Miss Georgette? I just know. Common sense. They don't get fired. They don't.
They will do anything and everything to cover up their mess.
Even when they lie, and proven lies, they still don't get fired. They don't. Because if they did, if they were held accountable, they would not be fucking you up. If they were body cams, guess what? They can't lie for the supervisor. They can't lie for the government. They can't lie. But that's why they don't wear body cams. Why
Exactly.
not?
How many people, how many bad parents do you think would be held accountable? How many bad social workers would be held accountable? How many good parents would actually get what they deserve? And this might be a hot take, but there are certain social workers that actually do the right thing, but unfortunately they end up quitting because they see the truth. The first lady at my church, for example, she wanted to be a CPS worker because she wanted to help families, but then she learned the dark truth. She decided to step away, get out of that, and she actually started her own program that helped parents and kids get back to their families instead of being the one taking them away and ruining them.
Wow. You know what's really, really sad with all this is that there's actually people think that children are not snatched every day, but they're actually snatched every single minute of the day.
Yep.
I kid you not. Over 1,846 children taken before Easter. That's how much. But the abused ones stay with the abusers. Can someone make any sense out of this? If they're not demons, then I have no other words to say. I have nothing to say. Because only a demon will put a child in harm's way and take a good child and corrupt them. That's what a demon does. So I'm asking you guys to protect yourselves, even if you don't have a CPS case. I'm asking you guys to protect yourself. And I would like us to, again, get together and demand and request for all government officials to wear body cams. Why only the police wear body cams? Why not all officials wear body cams? Right? Why not? What are they trying to hide? Especially when you go to somebody's house to steal their children, what the fuck do you hide? Right? What do you have to hide? Why is it so it's like they don't want to do it. They don't want to wear body cams because a narcissist doesn't want to be caught. They don't want to be caught, so they don't want to wear body cams. But I mean, do you guys agree with me? If you guys agree with me, whoever's watching this, let me know if let me know. Support it. Do you want them to wear body cams or not?
They're willing to give them pepper spray in Illinois because of what happened with that one CPS worker getting stabbed. They're willing to give them pepper spray, but not wear a body cam. Yeah.
Pepper spray? Really?
Mm-hmm. They're going to start giving the workers in Illinois, pepper spray because of the incident where the woman got stabbed by the guy or whatever when she tried to go to his house and take the kids.
Yeah. And I think I understand what you're saying, but what is body spray going to do? You
I
know
don't
what
know.
the problem is, don't lie about parents. Don't
Yeah.
Pepper
lie.
spray, I call that piss me off spray.
Yeah.
Yeah,
pepper
like
spray, what is that?
they're gonna give the workers pepper spray because of that worker getting stabbed. But they can't.
Do you
They're
think
paying for
pepper
the pepper
spray
spray.
is
How
going to
come they
stop
can't?
someone? Do you honestly think
No,
pepper
hell
spray is
no.
going to
When you're
stop
taking
someone?
somebody's kids, fuck no.
No. Do you honestly think that pepper spray, when you don't even know if you're going to aim right in the midst of the situation, you're going to
Exactly.
How do you know you're aiming right? What they need to do, instead of giving them pepper spray, giving them body cam. But they
Yep.
don't want to because they know that they lie to take children. Because how are they going to make the funding, you guys? How are they going to get the incentives if they don't steal children? Think about it. Think about it. They can't live without snatching children. I already read to you guys who benefits from all the incentives that they get. All the names that I just mentioned to you, all of them benefit. Social workers, court-appointed attorney, guardian ad litem, CPS judges, therapists, psychiatrists, foster parents, adoptive foster parents. All of these people benefit from the incentives. And they all look for kids in the state custody to ensure job security. All they care about is themselves, not what is the best interest of the child. So it is deceiving for them to have a title, best interest of the child. There is no best interest of the child. It's what's best for your fucking pockets. That's what's best for you, government. That's what's best for you, not what's best for the child. You pieces of shit.
And if anybody wants more clarity who doesn't have kids, knows nothing about the system, I highly advise you to watch this movie that was released in the early 2000s that's based on a true story. It's called Just Ask My Child or Children, one of those two. Oh, yeah, it's Just Ask My Children, right? Oh, that covers a lot of corrupt stuff that CPS did in Bakersfield, right? And it happens all over the place. Back in that time, they called it a witch hunt, right? To where CPS would do anything and everything to get a child removed, even if it was based off of a lie. Another good example, I suggest everybody read Legally Kidnapped, the case against Child Protective Services by Carlos Moros. He's a CPS investigator whistleblower that got tired of the corruption and decided to speak up. So for those of you who don't know or don't want to believe that it doesn't happen, they're always going to be doing the right thing because, well, they're an agency. Think again. Some of these people literally see it as a sport. A sport. Who got the biggest catch? Who got the biggest fish?
Like I said earlier on the last show, the court. Where do you play what do you do in a court? You play games.
My God.
And the judge is supposed to be the referee, but he's not shit.
Yeah. That's why I just got a text message. I was responding to one of the people that's watching the show. And she was saying, Georgette, you are so right. My judge today, that's what she said, my judge today was sitting there listening to the social worker, and my attorney asked him a question pertaining to the evidence, and the judge said to the social worker, what do you think, so-and-so? Did you guys hear what I just said? The judge asked the social worker, what did she think? The judge asked the social worker, what did she think? That's pretty big, ain't it? What is your purpose, judge? What is your purpose on the bench? So why don't we just put black ropes on social workers and go door to door and stealing children? So the social workers have multiple titles according to what's going on. First title is social worker. Second title is judge. Third title is psychiatrist. Fourth title is therapist, right? Fifth title, what? Jury. They seem to know everything. So judges really have no say-so. No say-so. So, welcome to the world. Together we break chains, production said. Luke 17:2. It were better for him that a milestone were hanged out his neck. About his neck, sorry, and he cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones. That is correct. And like I mentioned to you guys today, at my other show at 9 o'clock, that sometimes people think God is the reason for all this happening. God is not the reason, because we made a choice to be with that partner. We made a choice. We made a choice to do what we did, right? But oftentimes, the other people, like, for example, your family, right? Some of your family members, a grandmother, for example, or a mother-in-law who doesn't like your wife, then she will report her to CPS thinking she's going to have her grandkids, and it backfires on her, right? So sometimes people question God, but what did you do? There's so many 100 reasons why, right? Pandora's box is opened, and people don't listen. People don't call the right people to get advice. People tend to get advice from family, friends, and neighbors, and whatever. Sometimes you get advice from your own enemy, your own enemy. Sometimes you will call, and that enemy that you're speaking with, you think they're friends, and they're the ones who reported you to begin with. Sometimes you live with a mother who actually made the report against you, right? Against your ex or whatever. We don't know who we're talking to. We don't know who's lying to us. You just don't know. 808 said, this world is sick. Take your family, move out. USA, stop paying the court your money. Honestly, get the hell out of the United States of America. Honestly, get out. Find another country. Go to an island if you can. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But the corruption is just increasing. It's increasing. Playing God, not taking what the system is making. Real father suffers for no reason. Correct. Real fathers and mothers, my dear.
Yeah, for example, the baby mama of my son, she has a whole different baby daddy, her oldest son.
Yeah.
And she clearly had proof of them doing corporal punishment and cruel and unusual punishment to this child. And she brought it to the agency. Nobody wanted to do anything. And then I have a buddy that his baby mama straight up, got proven that she was the abuser and hanging around an abusive person in a family court, but then snatched the kids up from the county that he was in, took them to another county, and nobody could find her for the longest time. The child abduction unit didn't want to do anything, then tried to say it wasn't a child abduction, and the DA didn't want to do anything. Nobody wanted to do anything. So he's been stuck at this particular county for at least since 2018, trying to fight his case. And no matter what evidence is shown in the family courts, no matter what evidence, and even in the juvenile courts in his case, the judge tried to say, oh, you weren't doing your services, but yet he brought proof to his public pretender to file. That public pretender did not file crap, which made him look very, very bad. And the public pretender didn't even bother trying to call for a continuance or ask for evidentiary hearing to argue the evidence. None of that. None of it. In my opinion, it would be great to see multiple people to petition all over the states to petition that we abolish the Welfare and Institution Code because that's what they use in their courts. And it's way too stacked against the parents. And there's really not much they can do until all of us get together and decide a campaign against these buttholes that are doing this.
Mm-hmm. We have to.
Mm-hmm.
We have to, guys. We have to do
That's
this.
exactly what I was about to say. Like, you got the way we can change this is we got to get together. We got to be combined. Like Miss G says all the time, like, he divides to conquer, you know, like divide to conquer. Like, we need to get together so that way they can't conquer us. They can't take us for like our kids and be treated like we're basically nothing.
Yeah.
And
that's
our
why
kids are products to them.
Right.
Like, that's bullshit.
It is. And what I realized is that, you know, I was speaking to one biker one time. Well, that was a long time ago. And that was getting my tires done, as a matter of fact, right? Was somewhere in the valley. And I see this biker with a Harley and, you know, the jacket. You know, I love that. I was like, I wish I could ride a bike. I said, that'd be so awesome. Like, you know, a Harley, blah, blah. So anyways, me and him were talking. And I said, what made you, you know, what's your passion about being a biker and whatever? He said it started out when he was growing up and he's seen what the government is doing, right? And he became a part of a group where they protect people's rights. So I don't know if all bikers have that title. I'm not sure, but he's a biker. So he said that he has a group of people, bikers as well, who actually protect people's rights. He said all people. He said blacks, whites, purple, green, you know, everyone rights. Because he said the government is corrupt. It didn't hit me, right? It didn't hit me until I started knowing more and more and more. More. It's so corrupt that our government are the reason we have drugs in our state. Because they make money off of this shit. They make money. Our government sells alcohol. Alcohol. We have alcoholics that drink and drive. But yet alcohol is legal. But yet a social worker will go to somebody's home that has a bottle of wine and automatically they think they're alcoholic. But they leave the kids with the alcoholic parent. Ain't that something? So why is our government making it legal? But yet, if you have a bottle of wine, get it? Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? They're making money off of this shit. So we are the target. They're not here to protect us. They're not here to protect the people. There you go. I got it. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. So there is a Becca Bikers Against Child Abuse. Maybe he was one of those. He was a really nice man, by the way, that guy. I wish I got his name and number. Really nice guy. Very polite, very helpful. There was an old lady that day, just to let you know, Brian, there was an old lady with her husband, and they were waiting for their car to be serviced, and her husband was trying to hold her to set her down, and he took her bag, and she was having a problem. Then that guy I was telling you guys about, the biker, he went and he assisted her. I thought that was the cutest thing. He assisted her and her husband. So it's stuff like that that I love to see. You know, I love to see people who help people and genuinely help people, because we all have to be like this guy, and we all have to protect each other's rights, right? How long do the people have to suffer in the government hands? And I'm not saying for you guys to do anything violent. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying for you guys is to vote. Vote these judges out, man. Just vote them out. Because if you don't vote, they're going to be reelected. You don't want them to be reelected. That's the last thing you want, is for them to be reelected. Vote for the right president. Vote for the right person running for office. Don't vote for them because you're a Democrat or a Republican. I keep telling you guys this. Vote for the right party. I mean, for the right person, not just because you are this party. It doesn't make any sense. But honestly, just knowing that Bill Clinton 1997 act is what put this shit together to begin with makes me wonder about you Democrats. You know? Like, hello, I'm gonna act like Medea. Hello. Maybe that's what they need. Hello, government. Hello, president. Why are the Democrats so how can I say it? Interesting people, aren't they? I'm trying to be nice. Should I be nice, Cassandra?
No.
No. Democrats, you suck.
We don't sugarcoat anything. We're not a chocolate factory. We're not Willy Wonka. We don't sugarcoat shit.
No.
No
Democrats,
fun.
shame on you. Shame on you. You guys are gonna reap what you sow. Whoever is doing this to the children, you're gonna reap what you sow. Whoever is doing this to innocent mothers and fathers, you're gonna reap what you sow. Because God is still.
Eventually, people are going to get tired of it.
Yep.
They're going to do something extreme.
Yep. And all you monitors out there taking one-sided monitors lying in court and reports, monitoring reports, you will reap what you sow. Everyone that does evil intentionally will reap what they sow. It's not coming out of me. That's in the Bible. That's God's promises to us. You will reap what you sow.
Remember, everybody, Genesis, I think 126 through 128, it lines out that God gave dominion over the land, air, and water to man, and this became law. We own this place. See, you also got to think of it like Bug's Life, right? You know, the crickets thought they ran the ants. And when the ants decided, there's more of us than them, we're the ones doing the work, why should we listen to them? No, screw them.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this video on YouTube, but it's called Meet Your Straw Man. Like, it's eye-opening. That's how I know from like birth, from signing the birth certificate, you sign over your kid, basically. As soon as you sign it.
You should have seen how pissed they were when I wrote above in the captions, all rights reserved, right?
This video right here is like, can I play it? Could I play the video?
I wouldn't. They might get a copyright strike.
It's on YouTube. Everybody look it up.
I know, but even certain things with YouTube is very picky with their algorithm, and yeah.
But type in "Meet Your Straw Man." Watch that video. It's a little cartoon short, and it tells you a lot. And it's basically being sarcastic through the whole thing, but like it's funny.
Yeah, I think honestly, guys. I mean, you guys need to educate yourself, and you guys need to start standing up for your rights. All of us, not just one person or two. For the love of God, the other day I went by. Where was I? What? Oh my God! Like Vermont and something. I was on, and there were like 3 protesters against CPS. Three people. That was just recently. I saw them. Of course, me being, supporting them, I'm like honking and shouting, yay. But we all need to get together. We all need to be one unit. If you want to be heard, we all need to be one unit. Together as humans. We're humans. We all need to gather together. But do it peacefully. Let your voice be known peacefully. Without retaliating, they're not worth you going to jail. They're not worth you going to jail. What is that, Cassandra?
It's the
Family Rights Rally
that I'm doing.
Yes, May 21st.
In my city.
Yeah.
Like everybody should get to your local, wherever, like your local government building or your local CPS building or what the fuck ever, and start protesting on May 21st. that day, go there and start. And then if we all do this, like, we could possibly make it like some type of uproar. Like, come on now, people. Like, it's that simple. Just go. Do it. If you want to be
Just
heard.
amazing how quick a lot of people come together to petition for another stimulus check, but they won't petition for the future of America. What's wrong with that picture, folks? You may not like kids, but at the same time, remember,
right?
We always say kids are the future.
The love
That's
of
what
money.
I always say. Like, I'm always saying that kids are the future, and our kids are getting traumatized and taken from us from good parents that are trying to raise them right and be good people, and they're traumatizing them and putting them in these group homes where they're fighting other kids, they're getting attacked, bullied, and have no one to protect them, no family to freaking get them through tough times or anything like that.
They don't care about the children. We already know that all they care about is money. That's all they care about is money. What does God tell us? The love of money is the root of all evil. God never said that money is the root of all evil. God said the love of money is the root of all evil. And that's what they enjoy the most, is the love of money. That's why our children is suffering. Oh my God. I want to let you guys know that I do pray for all of you. I kid you not. I do pray for all of you. And sometimes I have people that call me and we pray together at night. Like literally, we pray together. We're like 4-way or 3-way or whatever. We pray together at night. But don't ever, ever think you're defeated. That's what the enemy wants to put in your head. And the devil attacks our thoughts. Remember that. The devil attacks our thoughts. So the devil will put something for you to hear. And then that's why you have to protect what you hear. If you hear a person say, fuck, this and this person and this and this and that, right? You're going to start thinking that. You don't even know that person. You're going to just start thinking it, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Protect your ear. Protect what you hear. That's why oftentimes people say, what do you listen to in your car? I listen to gospel music. I really do. Because that's the only peace I have. Right? But some people listen to rap and this and that. I protect my ears for one thing. Because some of those rappers, they're saying some demon shit. I don't know. I don't know what comes out of their mouth. There's some raps and some rock and roll stuff. I can't tell. That's not English. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. So you have to protect your ears. And you have to protect your lips. Because what comes out of your mouth is what's going to defile your life. That's what you're going to create in your current situation. And that's what the social worker keeps telling you over and over again. You're a loser. You're not getting your kids back. And then what do you hear? I'm not. I'm this. I'm that. I'm this. Because they already put it out there. But in your heart, you know that there's no weapon formed against us shall prosper. You don't receive the negative. You rebuke it, not receive it. Okay? So instead of you telling people about your problem, tell people about who your God is. So instead of you gossiping about your situation or others, start talking to people about who your God is. So look at that situation, look at that problem, and let them know who your God is. And be still and be centered. I am going to repeat myself in every show now about this. Be still and be centered. Center your life. Center yourself so you can think clearly. Meditate. Not drink yourself to death. Not take not take drugs for you to numb your pain. Because that's what the devil wants. He wants you numb.
Also, may I add one thing?
Yeah.
And another thing that I've learned from doing a Bible study at my church, as long as you're of sound doctrine, everything else is going to be okay.
That's right. That's right. But the devil wants to discourage you. So every time you're closer to God, the devil creates chaos. 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 It's like fake bullets. That's what it is. It's like fake bullets that the devil keeps hitting you and you think they're real bullets. But God said, be still Be still and know that I am God. That's what he tells us. So get closer to God. And the more you're being attacked is because the devil knows you're trying to be closer to God. Cassandra actually said that to us in the show earlier. Every time you're closer to God or trying to get closer to God, the devil will keep attacking. Yeah.
It's always going to get worse before it gets better, because he's always going to try to make it worse for you, so that way you lose your faith in God. And then it's like the story of Job, like I said, is one of my favorite stories, because it shows, like, if you just stay faithful to God, he'll be there for you in the end.
Okay, guys, I have to now cut this to an end because we are over and I have an appointment at 2:15. I love you guys. Don't forget to watch the show Relatives Fight CPS at 4 o'clock. And John, thank you so much. And I do want you to come back on the show again. So make that work with the show producer, Grace, okay?
I definitely will. And then hopefully both of y'all got my contact info. Feel free to hit me up.
Cassandra will, I'm sure. Right, Cassandra? She took off her earpiece.
Yeah, like I said, I'll love to tell y'all, what I've learned and what I've had to do in my case and what's worked for me. But even with doing all this, what people would consider crazy and impossible, it's your kids. Do whatever it takes within reason, obviously. Right. I'm not encouraging any violence. Right. But as long as you stay strong and you don't give up, you don't lose your standing no matter how rough the waters are. And I'm not talking about being at sea.
Right.
Do what you need to do.
Okay, guys. I'm sorry, John. I have to cut this to an end. My appointment is at 2:15. I got to go. Love you guys. I'll see you guys at 4 o'clock. Bye, you guys.